Hello, everybody, and welcome
Hello.
back to another episode of Cloud Conversations. My name is Peter Rising. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm delighted to be joined by the wonderful Femke Cornelissen again today. How have you been, Femke? It's good to see you. It's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, everything is fine. I'm really happy that I'm an MVP now. So
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations to you, and
thank
so
you.
well deserved. We were talking with our wonderful guest, who I'm going to let you introduce in a moment, just before we came
Yeah.
on air, how deserved that is. So many
Thank you.
congratulations. It's been a long time coming, and we're
Thank
really,
you.
really pleased for you and proud of you. So amazing. Love it. So,
Thank you.
Femke, so
So
if you would like to do the honors and introduce our
yeah,
wonderful guest this week, that would be fantastic.
yes, we have Merethe. Merethe, how do you say your name? Merethe?
Merethe.
Merethe.
Yeah.
And
Merethe.
she's working at Cloudway as a CCO and a cloud architect. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah.
Really great to have you here. You're also an MVP. You see on the great jacket over there.
We're matching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell us about yourself and a little bit about your role of Cloudway at Cloudway?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Peter, and thank you, Femke, for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be invited to talk to speak with you. Yes, correctly. I'm working in Cloudway, and we are 11 currently. And we're working, even though it started in Norway, we are working globally. And we like to see it's a bit unique because we like to build bridges and remove blockers. That's maybe the short version. And we work as consultancy advisors, totally just hands-on. We have a lot of experience, respectively, in different fields. Some are more focused on the security part, others on the adoption, and mainly within Microsoft 365, and now, of course, Microsoft Viva, which we have all immersed us in lately. So we're very excited. We kind of, we've been in this business for a while, and then we see something new coming along, and then we need to taste it. We need to find out what is this, what does it mean, and how can customers and users benefit from these tools. So we were, as soon as it was there, we just had to jump on it and figure it out. So we've been chewing on that now for a year and a half. So very excited about what we see, the possibilities. Yeah.
Great. What I saw at your profile on LinkedIn is that your past is in the HR, human rights, right? And
Human resources.
yes, human. Yeah. Can we get this?
I'm both passionate about both, so that's good.
Shall we do it again?
Yeah, human rights as well.
Yeah.
Or is it human rights?
I'm very passionate about that. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's right. But I'm just. Oh, you need to cut this, Peter. This is.
Oh no, we keep it real. This is what makes it
HR,
interesting.
yeah.
We keep it real. So, Mike, I jumped in there, and so is it human rights that we're talking about, Merethe?
Yeah, that's what I saw at your profile, Merethe.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's your past, right?
Well, part of it. I mean, because it's funny that you asked what the HR part, which is before I discovered SharePoint, actually, because I was living abroad for many years, and I came back to Norway and tried to figure, okay, I need to start working, and how do I do that? And then I went into like consultancy houses because that is the best way to start if you want to start somewhere new. And then I ended up in a project where the company were implementing a new HR system, at the time when they were going to do digital registration of travel experiences and all of expenses. Sorry, not experiences, expenses. I also stumble in the word. So that was a kind of a project that I went into HR in that project where they were implementing different modules of HR going digitally, basically.
Really?
So that was a very exciting project, really very good people in the project, and I learned a lot. And then I followed that product into operations, so to speak, in HR. So I helped set up a internal customer service for those different modules, and especially if you traveled a bit, registering multiple journeys in one journey, that can be tricky when you have to start doing it digitally. So that was I many times got the difficult customers on my phone and tried to help them out, because it's difficult. And that time was before we had sharing screens. I had to remember all these different steps to, for example, managers, how they can improve. So that was a good schooling. And then, so that was my HR stunt, so to speak. And then after that, I stumbled into a project where they were implementing SharePoint 2007. So I was part of the last 3 months. So that was in 2009. So then I was part of that adoption program last 3 months, and they did a really good job in that. They did it how it should be done. It was like a really good example of how to run an adoption program or implementation program.
But very early. So long time ago.
How
many years ago was that?
Oh, that is 2009. So do the math. So for a few years. So then after that project, then I was somebody asked me that we're gonna set up a project. Can you do the SharePoint site for that project? And I was like, oh well, okay. I haven't done that. I can try. That is like, I don't know, but we can give it a try. And then that project turned into a huge program with 800 resources. 6 projects altogether, and basically it was a telecompany who was switching out equipment in 9,000 base stations across Norway. So they had a huge operation. And that SharePoint, my SharePoint, that was my start. So I did all the mistakes in the book. And at that time, SharePoint was a lot more micmac, as I said. You have to do a lot of more configuration. And my challenge was that I was not allowed to do any customizations. I had to make it out of the box, which I believe in hindsight, it was a blessing, because then I really learned SharePoint, how it actually works. And the funny thing is, SharePoint, since then, the same principle still apply. SharePoint is pages, it is libraries, it is lists. And it still is. It's just now it's so much easier to build nice pages, and now it's sexy. I mean, sorry, it just is. It's really good.
It is.
Yeah. So, and that, then you can say the rest is history, because then it was SharePoint going forward in any project after that, and then Office 365, and then Microsoft 365. So and here we go.
Wow.
And I found my passion.
Now it's Viva there.
Yeah, exactly.
We see you a lot in combination with Viva, I think.
Yeah.
Viva is really exploding right now with new stuff, new features, new modules. And we also see the Viva Explorers, where you're part of. Can you tell us something about the Viva Explorers?
Oh, yes, it is so funny. And we get like-minded people thinking together, or also different people thinking together about something similar, and a shared passion, then magic happens. And it was so funny, because my colleague Leslie, it was her idea. She's the Viva visionary, and she teamed up with Sarah Fenna, who is the Viva realist, as we say. And they were doing presentations together across, because they're working in Leslie worked with us in Cloudway, and Sarah, she is on her independent trainer, and that's what she does. And then they were presenting at an event together, and then there was one new event coming up that all 3 of us were supposed to present together. And then, as we were 3, we thought we should call ourselves something. We should, what are we? And then we'd end up with the Viva Explorers, and then we had this little drawing of each of us, just to see the differences and the different superpowers, so to speak, that we are. And then
there are so many of you now, aren't there?
Yeah. It is. It's been more than 60, I think. And it was so funny when, like Femke, we met on the ESPC 22. Yeah. Yes. Then I think there was at least 20 of the Viva Explorers there. And the thing is, as we have seen along the years, and as these tools are evolving and are users are evolving and the world is evolving around us. And the technology, not only Microsoft 365 or Viva, but everything around as well is evolving a lot. And none of us has a chance to keep up with everything. Nobody. One person can't remember and know all of these things. And also there's so much that needs to be done in this fair that we need to support each other. I mean, I don't see, like, if you work for a different company, I don't see you as a competitor. I don't think I ever have, because there is so much that we need to do, that we need to work together and we need to learn from each other. And that's part
the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this Viva Explorer team, because we all have different skills, we have different backgrounds, but together, and that goes the same if you're running adoption, for example, in an organization, or if you are implementing new technology. You need to work together. I mean, HR, communication, IT, security, compliance, quality assurance, everybody, and of course the business itself. We all have to have different skills and work together to understand what do these technology tools mean for us, and then how we can leverage these tools. And the same goes, and then for Viva Explorers, we can present, and then we are building upon each other's strength and also learn from each other. Because we saw that when Sarah, Leslie, and I was preparing that presentation, although they had done it before, we need to divide it between us. We need to, okay, what is the latest update now that we need to bring into this? And all three of us remember different things. And that made a good presentation, right?
And right now, there are also people from all over the world who have events that calls it Viva Explorers. So it's a really,
even in Canada
brand.
It was one. It was nice.
We're going to do it in Belgium and in Amsterdam. So really amazing.
And then the whole point, and then we just support each other, and it was so lovely. Now last week we had one in Oslo, and it was so nice that Kevin, he's in the UK, but he encouraged us and wished us good luck. And I was like, oh yes, that means a lot, And that's we have to remember to cheer each other on, because the world is hard enough as it is. And sometimes we might feel alone out there helping customers, and then it's important that we cheer each other up as well.
Hey, and for the listeners,
Kevin is a real star.
Kevin is such a definitely
star, and he's a very, very dear friend. And hey, Kev, if you're watching, I know you do. We love you.
And for the listeners who don't know what is Viva, is that something you can tell us about?
Viva la Viva. It is what are we talking about when we come to Microsoft Viva? That's what we talk about, yes. And it's not something you can go out in the store and buy just like that, if we like to. Because maybe many companies, they have already implemented Microsoft 365 with SharePoint, Teams, and all of the other goodness that you find in Microsoft 365. And what Viva is a layer on top of that Microsoft 365 platform. And as we saw it as it arrived, is that this is the missing link that we've been waiting for, even if we didn't know we were waiting for it. Because you have, like I said, you have maybe implemented Microsoft 365 and perhaps you're using Teams, but maybe just for meetings or chat. And then there's so much more goodness that you are paying for already, but maybe not using properly. And we all agree that adoption is a good idea. Still, so many companies that either don't want or have resources to do that and don't have the proper ownership of how adoption should be run in their organization, or maybe even who is responsible for knowledge management, digital competency, information flow, information management. And it's kind of interesting though, if you look, and sometimes I say to my customers that look at your management board. Who is responsible for people? That is the HR manager. Who is responsible for the money? That is the finance manager. Who is responsible for the knowledge and information in your organization?
No one, everyone.
Sometimes it's hidden somewhere down. Sometimes it's down in HR. Maybe sometimes it's in IT, but it's not the right place. It should be a specific role around that management table. And what the Viva can do is help managers and organization to use data-driven adoption, because we know there's a lot of information and data flowing in organization, and if we haven't had a proper inventory management along the way and had structured our internal information in a good way, we realize there's a lot to catch up on, right? And many times organization maybe wanted to do it, but then they thought this is so much that we don't have the resources enough to handle this. And this is where Viva can help, because it can help if you take, for instance, Viva Topic, you turn it on and it chews on your information for a couple of weeks, and then it comes with suggestions of these are the information pages that we should have, for example. So it will help you to organize that documents and information that you have in your organization. And then when you look at learning, you have Viva Learning, then you maybe already have some LMS solutions. And what happens today is that learning is very fragmented in an organization. So HR have some learning systems, security department have some learning system, the different business areas maybe have their own learning ways or systems. But how can we put this into one type of one place to find all the learning? And this is where Viva Learning comes into the picture, because it's not going to replace your current LMS or your current learning systems, but it will bring all the elements in these different learning systems into one place in Teams. And also that you can share it on the left side of your Teams, or as a conversation in a specific context, because then it's bringing learning into the context of your work. And then you have all these other connections, bringing the intranet into Teams, so they are all interconnected. So you have all this goodness. And then you have the insights, which will then help you to see how are we working in our organization. Am I doing a lot of work after normative hours, which means that I have too many back-to-back meetings and have to catch up in the afternoon, and then I'm getting tired and burnt out? Or can I, as a manager, see that in my team, I need to teach my team to set focus time. I need to teach my team to set learning time and breathers between all the meetings. And maybe also better adoption of using Teams properly, meaning that there could be meetings where you don't have to have as a meeting. Maybe it could be a conversation in Teams instead, in the dialogues. Yes.
Do you see that there are companies already having adoption specialists who using this data to help these companies further, or how do you see that? Is that
yes? We have all, and last week in our actually on our event last week, in the Viva event we had in Oslo, we had a customer from Orkla. They are best in class. I mean, some of the best in class when it comes to adoption, because they have and they show how it can be done and the effect of that. And one thing they've done, and also what I've seen other organizations who are successful in adopting new tools, including Viva, is that they have a shared board, cross organizational board, consisting of communications, HR, IT representatives, and this board has a mandate, so they can make decisions on tools and how this is going to be used, as well as they can be an escalation points for example, the finance department want a new way of doing audits. Using Teams. How can they do that? That's not something you can ask IT support necessarily to do, because they are just supporting, incidents and things like that. But the board can then say, our champion, this and that person who is our champion can help you structure that, or show them how they can use Viva or whatnot, or run trainings, etc., for example. So it's continuous work, because number one, it's a continuous evolvement of the tools. The organization is continuously evolving, and you need to have somebody in the organization to bridge those gaps between technology and process and users.
Great.
Peter, so yes, there are some good examples and good customers who are already doing it. So just do what they do.
Wow. Yeah. So I have sometimes some companies just struggling with finding out what is Viva, and because it's going so fast, and there is so much in it that it's finding out where to start sometimes, I think. And these are really great examples that people can help, I think. Is there an Viva module that you like, of what your favorite is, or what you use by your own?
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough question. And I don't know if it's because I'm a farm girl, helping my dad fixing his cars, or why, but I like connecting things somehow. And it goes the same in Viva, because it's just, you can take just one. I mean, I'm very passionate about knowledge and learning. That is, of course, so the Viva learning is like, yes, of course. But then again, it's not only that will bring learning elements from your LMS solutions, or if you have stored, for example, webinars that you run weekly, that you have stored as a learning element in SharePoint, that will also show up in Viva Learning. So I love the part of the Viva Learning that you can bring all the learning together. But then it will also, what happens, I just have to say this because little sidetracks here and there. I'm sorry about that. One thing
really
leads to another. Yeah. So then, what the thing is with learning, there's a shift when it comes to what happens now when we bring in Viva Learning, because traditionally learning has been, maybe HR is saying this is what you need to learn, or management, this is what you need to learn, these 10 whatever things that you need to learn, and it's like one way direction from management down to the employees. Now there's a shift here, because when you have Viva Learning, you have not only your LMS and whatever you have on SharePoint, you also have perhaps a LinkedIn, if you've accepted that, which is part of the package automatically. And also all the Microsoft Learning, which is a lot. But the thing is, you have a lot of learning elements. So if I have only 1 hour a week for training, how do I define which one I can take? So I need to agree with my manager. Okay, these are obligatory, or these are approved, kind of. But that doesn't, Viva Learning won't give you that currently. What is coming in Viva Learning is the pathway, where you can define, for example, if I'm an engineer, I need to do these kind of trainings. But those you can pick and choose from all kinds of learning sources, which is beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's available. Then again, I also love Viva Topics, because it kind of intertwined somehow with learning, because how do you gather all the knowledge in your organization? That is by creating pages. These is our methodologies, for example. These are services, or this is our products. And there's a lot of gold in the organization. So how do you bring that gold from people's head into a common area? And there you got Viva Topics, because then not only it will chew and bring forward examples of knowledge already documented, but you can also start creating new pages. And on these pages, you can embed, then you have more information. So there's, and then you have Viva Engage, with bring communication in. So they're all kind of intertwined. Yeah, I love them all.
It's a connection, you learn.
Yeah, I always see these connections. So, but of course, if a company is new to Viva, maybe they already have Microsoft 365, or maybe they have SharePoint Online as intranet, then, because it's like a buffet. If you start eating all of it, you're going to have a tummy ache, right? So then start with something. You start with the salad or the pre-course. And that could be, for example, the Viva connection, because that is easy. If you already have your intranet SharePoint site, for example, as a home site, then it's pretty easy to turn it on. And there are some good resources of how to plan a proper internet. That being said, I don't see internet as just as a SharePoint or a page where you have information, because internet for me is the combination of teams where you have the dialogue, and sometimes I compare these 3 different elements. You have the solids, you have the fluids, and you have the gas. And that can sometimes help organization to place information, because the solid, that is your routines, your templates, your guidelines, the more static information that doesn't change a lot. For example, that you could add on SharePoint pages. And then you have the fluid. This is where the work is getting done, the factory, so to speak. You know who's in your group, you know why they're in the group, and you know what you're going to do with this group. That will be a natural part to place in Teams, with all the SharePoint behind Teams and the planner and the OneNote, and in that context. And then you have the gas. This is where, like the expertise communities, this is where you don't know who all the people in that community group are, but you have an idea that at least you have a common interest in the subject. So that is more of the really flying in the gas version. So there's some, and I think all of both the fluid, the solid, and the gas belong into, that's intranet, all of it together. So that's just a different way of looking at the tools. Yeah.
I really like it.
Wow.
I'm also really love your passion for it, because it's sparkling so hard. It's nice.
Well, talking to like-minded, that's good energy, builds on good energy, right?
Yeah, it's really.
So where does
It's
SharePoint
really
syntax fit into all this then? How does that relate to, say, topics, for example? Is that
Oh, good question. I still haven't read too much on syntax. That's on my to-do list, to study that. So, but I think it's more, good question, because that is more of a data. It's more in Azure, looking at, because it's moving over to that area. So I need to investigate more on syntax, how it fits into the topics. But it is connected.
Yes. I played with syntax a couple of years ago now, before I started focusing more exclusively on security and compliance. And back then it was very interesting to me, because with syntax you could identify content in certain areas in SharePoint and then apply retention to it and artificial intelligence. And so it seemed like it would be similar to topics, but I must admit I also haven't looked at syntax for a while, and I wondered if it was something you'd played with. But it's on your to-do list. It's on my revisit list. How about you, Femke? Have you looked at it?
Not yet.
No.
Right, and I think you're into something, because it will, it's about the labeling and these things, and how you can connect it. So it's very interesting. So we should get somebody in here to talk about that one day, because I think it's really, really interesting. It's just all of the things you want to study, you don't have. It's on my to-do list.
So much to learn always, isn't there?
Yeah.
How about Viva Goals? Have we talked about that one?
Not yet.
Objectives
that
and
is also
key
interesting.
Results. OKRs.
It is, and as I understood, I mean, just the tools itself is not rocket science, but I think the challenge is actually to define those goals, and what are the concrete activities you would like to do to achieve those goals. And sometimes I don't, when I go meet a new customer, I go into their webpage and I look around and I see what are they saying about, for example, digitalization or what they're thinking around technology. And then if I see, many times they have something about it, and that's what I'm telling the rest of the world that they are doing, right? So then I take a snapshot of that, and then when I have the meeting with the management group about what we're going to talk about, and I show them that page, and then I ask them, do you know this? Have you seen this? Do you agree? So that is kind of, because that is the visions, maybe where they're going, and then but I think the Viva Goals is a great tools for helping organization to make the activities a bit more concrete on all levels, not only on the top level, because many times the top level have clear ideas how they're going to get there, and then somehow it's not translated down to everyone building that cathedral, so to speak, from the mason to the carpenter and everybody. If we all understand that we are making a cathedral, things change.
And we've got
Yeah.
we've got so much content already, haven't we, in Viva? And it's only been around for a year or so at most, hasn't it? So
year and a half,
and there's
18
already
months.
so much.
Yeah.
So what's to come? I can't imagine. I know Microsoft must be planning so much more. Exciting.
Oh yes, it is. So our work is never boring. As soon as you try to, you kind of now you figure it out, then something new comes flying from the left or the right or whatever.
And what are you doing, Merethe? Is it you helping customers to get that tool working, or is it you are a consultant and saying you can see this here in Viva Insights and can use it like this? Where it stops like that? Do you know what I mean? Is it you help them getting in Viva and then you say, okay, you can use it, or is it more like you can use this case and this and this and this to get this done?
Well, all of it, and it all depends on where they are, because it's which part
is.
And what they want to do, and which, for example, module they want to start with. So and we in Cloudway have different skills, so we can also, depending on what they want, we can help them. We do run a lot of workshops because Microsoft, they have prepared some workshops, so we are running. We love to run workshops. We're one of our favorite activities. So because we think it's really good. We have fun and we can talk
workshops
about
great.
And we
it's
can
a great way
talk
to get
about
to know your
favorite
customer, isn't it? You can show them what it does. You can learn about them and understand where they are at and what their journey is. So cool.
But when you have that workshop and they say, "Oh, Viva goals, that's fantastic for us," and they're gonna use it, are you helping them with getting the goals done, or is it? Then
the next step, it all depends again where they are, because many times customers, they have already an IT vendor, for example, or a partner that can help them with their everyday, operations and also training. So it all depends on what their partner can do or not, and what they themselves can do or not. So then we can sometimes just run the workshop, and then we say, now this partner of yours, and they're part of that workshop. We always welcome in their current partner, because we believe in competency transfer, and then that they are important key for our customers to move forward. So then involve them in the workshop, and then we say, now this person can, or this team, they will help you on the next step. Or we could, for example, help them with a proof of concept if they are, maybe they want to test out some things, or maybe look at the concepts. Then we can continue that support with them, and then anything from hands-on configuration, if it's, for example, setting up a new intranet with a new way of doing that, or and then add Viva connection, for example, or we're going to do some graph connecting the current learning LMS solutions with Viva Learning, for example. We can do also that configuration hands-on. So we can do anything from, evangelizing, talking about the possibilities, to getting dirt on our hands, basically, and do it for them. But we always work on the team with the partners, because we don't compete. We are there to support and then complement, and many times we have a long relationship with the customer, but we come in, like we say, we remove the blocker either through a workshop or a proof of concept or even a project, and then we go out, and then we come back maybe later with something else, for example. So and then for some customers we work over a longer time, but we're not 100% full week with one customer. We are like a bit butterfly there. We a little bit here and there, because I like to be part of everything.
Great, really nice. It's what we are saying earlier. It's so big. It's so much in Viva, and you can do a lot. So there's a lot of people needs help with that. So amazing job. What I was wondering, you are doing a lot in the community, not only the Viva Explorers, but a lot of more what you are doing. Tell us, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I know it.
we love. I mean, you know, I feel many times I feel privileged. I mean, I'm so happy I work with something I love to work with, because you see the change. You see, you know, you see you're with a customer. Maybe you're working through some resistance, and you have a lot of challenges because things are not working maybe, and then you work together, and then you see the light bulbs coming up, or you see, oh, that was a good idea, and then you see that they are mastering themselves, and then yes, this is a good feeling, you know, that you make a difference for your customers. And then you know, once upon a time, like I said, I was doing that project when I had no idea about SharePoint. And then I found SharePoint community way back then, and at that time it was very technical in the community. And I was thinking, okay, I'll just have to sit there long enough, because right now this is just flying past my head. I don't get it. But if I sit there long enough, something will pop into my head. So then I just stayed and asked a million questions, and I also asked the colleagues at that customer, you know, ask me to get help from them. And I learned a lot from those people. And the thing is, when you have gone through that process and you feel you're mastering, then you start want to give back, because there's always somebody who's me back then, right now, somebody new to this. And I can just imagine stepping into this world now is like, whoa, what is all of this? And I believe in cheering others up. And also we have my boss Tolle and I and the third person Lasse, we are organizing the Norwegian Microsoft 365 community. And this is where I would like to encourage new speakers, for example, and new members of the community, because it's a great place to start if you want to present your case, and because it's a good audience and you have good discussions, and we learn from each other all the time. True. Yeah. And there's so much. So then we like to have regular meetings where we share good practice, and then have customers also come, and maybe customers together with consultants presenting a step in the journey, because we are all on that same journey, and there's no perfect project. I think we all know that by now. And by sharing it, number one, you can share the background, the thinking, the idea, and then the lessons learned, and then you have good dialogues and discussions, and maybe also good ideas coming from the audience.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. So that it's been for several years, and then we got Women in Teams community. I think that's where we met digitally first, Femke.
Yes.
And
with
also
my children on.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that's what the pandemic did.
Yeah.
It was kind of made us all kinder, that we can see others' families as well. And then we have Women in Teams community and the Viva Explorers community. But it's the same gang. I mean, we just have different forums, plus minus same gang. So yeah, it's fun to be part of the community. And then we get to know wonderful people like you too, and more. So that is, and we learn from each other. So it's a good community. I feel there's a lot of goodwill, and we have a truly intention of helping each other. That is what I feel all the way. I mean, there's so many wonderful people. So
it is the best.
So like
it is the best community.
It is.
Do you have some events planning? Do you have some new events that you are going to?
Well, we have quite a few. We have the modern workplace in Paris. It'd be nice. Yeah, and then we see some more coming up. And then this year goes, what is it called again? In Düsseldorf, I think it is. Yeah. Oh, my head is not working now.
Yeah. It's okay. It's a lot.
Stuttgart.
Something.
Did you say Stuttgart?
No, Düsseldorf. It's this year go.
Düsseldorf. Oh, I know the one you mean. But I can't think what it's called. But
collab. Something. Yeah. Sorry, my mind is. It's so many things thinking at the same time now. So yeah, that one. So there's a lot coming up. It is.
There's always lots coming up, isn't there? There's so much to look forward to all over the world, which is what connects us even more. It makes the world a smaller place. This technology that we're lucky that we have, that we didn't have 10, 20 years ago, and now that's made the world such a smaller place and connected us all so beautifully.
It is.
And I love it.
And are you going to the summit?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the summit, the MVP summit?
I'm not sure. I submitted maybe. So then
Maybe.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Are you going over?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I also submitted, and so
I
yeah,
won't be. I'll be attending virtually.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to travel outside the UK, but so I will attend
It's
virtually.
also fine. Yeah, it's also fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of good stuff will be online as well. So then I think quite a few will not be able to travel because of short notice. So
true.
that
And I think they have limited numbers as well, don't they?
Yeah.
I think there's only a certain amount that can go.
Yeah.
But I loved it in the ESPC 22. It was like a reunion because it was one of the first ones, I think, after the pandemic that so many could meet each other again. Yeah,
you was there on stage. It was really great. The big stage. You was there.
Yes. And speaking to. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Really great.
And
it's kind of nerve-wracking.
Presence, don't they? Cloudway do a lot in the community, and we've had so many guests from Cloud. We have a lot of friends at Cloudway on the show because we've had Leslie on the show, we've had Stola on the show, we've had Nikki on the show as well.
Yeah.
So
you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Am I missing it? And now your good self, and I'm sure there's somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope.
We have 11, so just go through the list. So.
Yes, and you're all MVPs, right? I think everyone.
Almost. This one that is not yet.
Right.
So hopefully
there you go.
You will also be. Yeah. No, I think it's about it's a culture, and I love the way they've done it. I mean, that's why I joined Cloudway as well. It's a place where we're going to be happy working. That's the key.
Yeah.
And we're passionate about the thing we're working on, and we are given and share with each other. So it's just the same. It's like having friends at work. It is really lucky. I feel privileged. It's a good gang. It is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I love Nikki so much. I was on her podcast that she does with Ryan Murphy a few weeks ago. So it was nice to be the guest for once. It was different for me. But,
yeah, and you can really listen. Yeah. Oh, she's awesome. I mean, they all are.
She's
so
great.
That is.
Everyone is.
Fantastic.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
And it's a funny thing because we don't, and one thing that may be special about Cloudway is that we don't have a shared physical office. Our office is in Teams. And the question. Yeah. So, and during pandemic, we were several starting in Cloudway without ever having met, because we meet when there is a conference or we create our own event. For example, like now in Oslo, we were 6 of us. So it was not all of us this time, but and in summer we were all of us on a different conference in Oslo. So then that was last year. It was the first time many of us met, and it was so strange because we felt like we knew each other really well already, just because we have. But we're also making sure we have a social time, certain time that we are just social. Talking about just social stuff.
Great. Yeah.
It's so nice when you get to meet people, isn't it, in person? Because I mean, Femke and I, we met online and we didn't meet in person for quite some time, and it was just so lovely when we could finally meet each other
in Manchester.
In Manchester, in UK. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, you were there. Leslie was organizing that. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. Yeah, love it that it's back, the in-person events. So yeah, I've also a lot of events upcoming.
Coming up.
So, yeah.
But, do you have local user
everywhere
groups
at the moment,
Femke? Everywhere.
It's so nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I really like it.
Do you have user group meetings coming up or as well, or just conferences?
Organizing a few events, so the Viva Explorers Belgium and Netherlands, but also a meetup or a user group events with all the user groups that there are in the Netherlands, and bring them all together in one community day event.
Oh, nice!
It's a really great way to bring communities together and supporting each other and helping each other with building a name of the communities and bring each other to other communities. So that kind of things, and also speaking at a few new events for me. So it's
a lot
great.
though, because it takes a lot to organize an event. I have deep respect for that, because I organized SharePoint on Saturday 5 years. So
I'm now
respect.
organizing also Expert Live. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah,
it's 1,200 people, so it's a really big event. Yeah,
that is huge.
Yeah, so but it's really great to be a part of. Yeah, learning so much.
So rewarding.
It is. And you say, and the week before you say never again, and then the day turns up, and then it's so much fun that one more time then.
Until next time.
Yeah, but there are also a lot of good people in it, so it's not only me. Yeah. But Pete,
and as we record this, say again.
Pete, we need to do something in the UK because we want to see you.
Oh, absolutely! Please do if you
I'll
can
come over.
Oh, you are welcome always. I would love to see you both in person, definitely. But I mean, it may not always be this way for me. I mean, my young son Oliver, he has severe autism, as many people who watch the show will know, and it's very difficult for me to leave him at the best of times. So I just had a couple of days away from home for work just this week as we record this, and it was quite challenging to leave my wife and with him on her own. But we manage, but we don't like to do it too often, and we'll probably get to the stage where I can maybe go through the Eurotunnel maybe to mainland Europe, but I don't think. I think it's a long way off me being over the pond to the States again. It's I think that's a bit. It's hard to get back from there quickly if there's an emergency. So
you want to be close enough to come back quickly. Yeah,
I do. So
and families first, families first, no matter what. Yeah,
always. And we have the technology, thank goodness. So at least I can get to talk to all my friends all the time like this, and it means so much to me. So that's good. If we can't be in person and greet each other with a proper hug, we can do a virtual hug. So
we can do. We are connected.
But maybe the Ignite version in the UK.
I hope they bring that back, because I used to love that Ignite, the tour they used to do in London every January. But then COVID happened and they've not done it since. So I really hope they bring that back, because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because London's easy for me to get to. Really, really easy. I love London so much.
Also easy for me. It's 1 hour flight. So
from Schiphol to Heathrow, I guess. It's really, really easy, isn't it? So what's life like in Norway, Merethe? What do you enjoy doing in your spare time, if you have any? Because most of us are so passionate about community and what we do.
You can do SharePoint. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I just the nice thing, and that's the thing. I used to live in Oslo before the pandemic, and I was thinking I'm going to live there for quite a bit. But then my grandpa used to have a small farm on the west coast, and this is typical. You go home on holidays in summer and things like that. So I was here the summer of the pandemic. I was thinking, just let's stay a few more weeks then till this passes. It took a couple of years, but anyway. So then I realized that it was so smooth working from here, because they have built out the fiber net, so the internet is really good. And then I was thinking, goodness me, I have the fjord, I have the mountains, I have this farm. I mean, I can run around on, sort of. Yeah. But so then I was like, you know what? Quality of life is number one. And I just realized, let's move home, because now I can fly to Oslo. I can fly anywhere. If we didn't have to drive for half an hour and take a ferry. So it's a little bit more cumbersome, but with planning, everything goes. And I find it really nice, because my brother's dog, she likes to, in the morning she comes with me to my home office, and then she's coming with me to work. and then by lunchtime I have a little nose, lifting my elbow up and say, now it's time to go outside. So that is really good. So the outdoors being, it's on the west coast of Norway. So we have a great surf environment here. I'm I haven't tried that yet, but I love watching surfers because they're really good at it. The bigger the waves, the more clever the surfers. But and just being near the ocean, peace of mind, peace
Sounds
of life.
amazing.
It is. So come over for visit anytime with your families. It's lovely to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to sometime. Definitely. It sounds absolutely ideal.
Good for families. Yeah. Beaches. You can, love different beaches. And nice places to climb or hiking, not super steep. It's just comfortable. Yeah. Or super steep if you like that. But of course we have all kinds.
Yeah. Something for everyone. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great. Wow, I love this talk. It's so Oh, there's something over here. I don't know if you hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, some emergency.
Am I safe? Yeah.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Just passing through. Yeah, it seems like they just passed by you.
Yeah, I think so. But really great that we have you on the show today. I don't know, Pete, or do you want to?
Wow, lots going on over there.
Yeah.
Better check after. Hope you're safe.
we are at I think 2 kilometers of Schiphol. It's
airport.
So, the airport. Yeah. Nothing big. I don't see anything. Yeah.
Sounds like it's calmed down now. I wonder what they were responding to. We'll never know.
Yeah. No. Read in the news maybe later today. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully it's nothing serious. I hope everyone's okay.
That's the main thing. Hope so. Yeah.
So Pete, do you have any questions for Merethe for now to ask, or do you have something?
Probably tons. I think we could talk for hours and hours. I love to hear all about Norway. I'd love for you to share some pictures of the beautiful scenery that you have around you. That would be great.
I'll share a video.
If you could share, because it sounds amazing. All the fjords. I mean, Norway is very famous for its fjords, isn't it? And what's it like this time of year? In terms, is it getting more daylight? Are you getting more light hours in the day?
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit north of Scotland, and it's very similar nature as Scotland, so probably quite similar. And now we had hail this morning, but now it's all gone, so it disappeared quickly. So it's springtime, but all of a sudden it can be snow in March as well. So you never know. We have the Gulf Stream coming down, because we're all the way to the west, so. Even if it's winter, it can still be warm all of a sudden. So we have a lot of weather. This is the place they mention on the weather forecast on TV. So there's a storm at this place, or it's things happening in the ocean. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. I'll share a video with you afterwards because they're building a ship tunnel as well in this area. So that's for boats because it's a very rough sea, especially at winter time outside, because they have to pass this West Cape, as they call it. So they're building a ship tunnel for big cruise ships to go into the tunnel so they can have more traffic on the sea.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
So a new project coming up in the area. So, if something happens, it's better to be where things are happening. So I'm just staying put.
So I'm just checking in Bing, the new Bing.
Yeah.
Ask them some questions. ChatGPT.
Oh, there's always so fun. Have you? Yeah, I discovered it now. It's just a lot of fun, and it's not so. It's not so dangerous, or as sometimes something new comes along and everybody, oh no, this is scary. It's a tool, like anything else. It's a tool. Exactly. It's like calculator. What did the math teachers say when they start using calculators?
This is not good.
You need to learn it by yourself.
This is going to make your brains lazy.
Yeah, and it is now.
But it's funny.
I put you in ChatGPT, Merethe. I say, give me 10 questions about Merethe.
Funny.
That's cool. But ChatGPT, it kind of just appeared overnight. I hadn't heard of it one day, and then the next day, suddenly everyone's talking about it. And what is this thing? And it just came out of nowhere.
Let loose. Yeah. The beast was let loose.
But it is everywhere right now. And if you're in our line of work, as in Microsoft 365 or Azure AD or in technology in general, you cannot you cannot avoid artificial intelligence, can you? It's
No.
here. It's here to stay. It's the future. It's going to be part of what we're all needing to learn about, and what anybody coming out of school is going to be learning about if they want a career in tech. So it's exciting. It's great to see these things moving forward, and hopefully supporting people and humanity in the right way, and not taking over too much, and not doing anybody out of jobs, because it's a transitional time in the world, isn't it? That's
It is.
When is it not? But when we think of many of our dear friends that we will all have at Microsoft who have lost their roles recently, and I feel so much for them. So many dear friends, but great people, talented people, and I have no doubt they'll get roles very quickly. But so it's that balance, isn't it? You do worry, how far is this tech going to go?
And I think there are some challenges. I mean, I love it. It is a tool, and you should use it as a tool. And for me, it's saving time. For example, I want a paragraph saying something about something, and then I can just make one, and then I say, oh, that makes sense, and then I change it a bit, and then you get something that doesn't make sense at all. So you need to still be critical. But there are, because I know, especially when there was these in the beginning, you had all these people were uploading their images and got art versions of themselves, which is, I did too. I mean, come on, we are damaged. We want to test everything that is new. So yeah, guilty of charge. But then there's a challenge there, because these are artwork that artists have made, and they have ownership for these. So there's a blurry line there on whose property are you were using. So I think it's important that whoever is running behind this are making up some better agreements with the owners of this artwork, or somehow that should be fixed, because you still should respect what do we call it, the craftsmanship or what people have created. Especially if it's personal. So that's a challenge. I think that
and she worries about that sort of thing. She creates a lot of content and puts it on Redbubble and things like that. So she does some great work, and it is a concern, I think, for people in that line of work. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds, though, won't it? For sure.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people had like, oh my gosh, they're stealing my work, and you are helpless, and you can't do anything about it. So I think they need to figure. But I think those governance on that needs to come in place somehow. Hopefully they're meeting somewhere in the middle there. So, but also important for us to remember to think about when we are using the tools, that we are, at least as technologists, we should be aware of this and respect other people's work, and make sure we are at least crediting wherever we know something is not. But it's of course with ChatGPT you don't know the source, so how can you?
Can I get it to write my? Can I get it to write my customer document for me? I
think so.
Documentation,
yeah. Do all my work for me. But then I would be doing myself out of that job if that came out. So let's not do that.
Well, and I don't think it's that easy, because you still have to do it.
You have to
I mean, it's
it.
just
but
for me, it's helping, saving time searching for things. At least that's what I see. It will help if I'm looking for something. Give me a model, for example. The other day I did that because I was looking for, and it's a better model than like for governance and things like that. And then I got, that was right. Okay, it helped me to find that. Okay,
there are a few things in it where you can put it in your work. Great.
Well, I think we're coming up to an hour, so I'm just mindful that all of our time is valuable, and we don't want to take up too much of your very generous time, Merethe. So we'll start to wind things up. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you properly. It's been a long time coming for me, because we've never really spoken properly before. We've messaged on Teams and that sort of thing. But so it's lovely to meet you virtually. I'm sure we'll meet in person down the road. But before we finish up, is there anything you'd like to share with the viewers before we sign off, how they can reach you if they want to get in touch and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's easy to find us, me and the rest of Cloudway. It's just Google, Bing us, search us up, cloudway.com, Bing us. And we're easy to find in social media because we're all over the place. So it's easy. Just reach me, and either via Teams in the communities, or we are approachable. We like to help people, and talk to people. And it's been a blast talking with you too. And also, like you said, Peter, it's a long time we have been aware of each other and communicated, but it's first time we kind of face to face. And Femke, it's a blessing to see you again. It was really, really nice talking to you. And you take care, and then stay safe, everyone out there. And enjoy, embrace life.
Absolutely. Femke, any final thoughts from you?
Just subscribe for our YouTube channel.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you, Merethe.
Absolutely.
And,
please do subscribe.
See you in Paris. Sorry, my English is today. No. See you in Paris.
We'll see you there. And stay safe, everyone, and see you.
Before we go, you always say about sorry for your English, Femke, but Femke, you do a podcast which is not in your first language, so
impressive.
Respect to you.
Yeah.
You are amazing. So never apologize for that. I can't speak anything other than English, so there you go. So be proud of how great your English is. It's amazing. It's way better than you think it is.
No, definitely. Anyway, it's really good.
I shall not embarrass you anymore, but let's sign off. Do subscribe. Have a wonderful time in Paris. It's lovely to talk to you both. And we shall end the episode there, and we shall catch you down the road on the next episode of Cloud Conversations. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.